WWF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Yes, guys, welcome back to Eagle-Eyed Football and welcome back to Transfer Weekly. This is going to be episode 10 of Transfer Weekly. Really hope you guys are enjoying this series, and I really hope you guys enjoy the new intro for this season. And, you know, today we're back with a lot more updates, but we're only covering one player, which is new, unfortunately, but it is another Brazilian wonder kid. Anyway, let's get straight into the updates. First up, 16-year-old Samuel Lusail. He's reached an agreement with Manchester United to get a full scholarship after rejecting a scholarship at Crystal Palace. Is this a good move for his career? You know, if you look at the youth development at Palace and the youth development at Man United, I'd say Palace is a little bit better than Man United, but, you know, he's made his choice now and let's see what happens with that. 22-year-old Malachi Boateng has just signed for Hearts in Scotland on a permanent basis. He's had multiple successful loans up in Scotland, here, there and everywhere, and it has gone for a undisclosed fee. Like I said in Transfer Weekly, I don't think it'll be too much money, but he's definitely a footballer with a lot of talent, and I think he will make a good career out of playing football for himself. Obviously, I think he has got the potential to, you know, start skyrocketing it in that league, and, you know, I'm sure that Crystal Palace put a cheeky sell-on clause in there just in case he starts to tear it up. 21-year-old Jezran Ratsaki was subject to a lot of rumours about him leaving Crystal Palace because he didn't travel with Crystal Palace to their American tour. However, he has now arrived in America. He's now training with the team. You know, he was on the bench against West Ham last night, and, you know, like there were lots of rumours saying that he's staying back so he can finalise a move to Southampton, he can finalise a loan move to QPR, but that is not the case. He is in the team, he's training. I wish he played last night, but he didn't. But turns out he was actually just unwell, and that's exactly what Mark Bright said on one of the streams. So, you know, I'm happy to see that he's here, and some fans, when they were doing sort of a meet and greet as they were, you know, signing stuff, they said, "Are you staying?" He said, "I hope so." I'm happy with this. You know, he's looking to fight for his place again, and, you know, hopefully he's in Glasner's plans, and if he is, he might be in contention for a first team spot next season. 26-year-old Odsonne Edouard. Palace were looking to sell him, but, you know, on his sudden upturn of form within pre-season and his work rate in pre-season, it looks like Glasner wants Crystal Palace to start talks about extending his contract. You know, he's only got 12 months left on his deal, and I'm sure that Glasner would like to show a little bit of faith with him because, you know, Mateta's at the Olympics. He's probably not going to be back until a month, maybe 2 months into the season, so we're going to need a first-team quality striker to play in the start of the season while Mateta's gone. Also, I feel like he's a good quality backup. You know, I think we need 2 starting strikers and then someone else, which is a bit more of a prospect. But obviously, you can't judge pre-season, can you? You can never go off what happens in pre-season. But Edouard's sudden turn of form, it just seems like he's locked in, and he's scoring goals for fun. He's pressing, his work rate has gone up, and that's exactly what we wanted from Edouard. Also, he normally starts the season really well, so even if it starts at Edouard and then goes back to Mateta again, you know, we should have a decent striker up top. And also, with only 12 months left, I'm sure that we'd rather extend his contract and then maybe sell him in the future to get some good or okay money for him instead of letting him go for free. And, you know, we've been burnt about players going on free quite a few times. 27-year-old Jean-Philippe Mateta has interest from Champions League team Aston Villa to bolster their squad during the Champions League. However, Crystal Palace have opened talks with the player, and I think that under Glasner, I do think that he'll sign that new deal, because if he goes to Villa, he's just going to be on the bench. He's going to be backing up Watkins. He's not going to be playing regular football, but he is in serious hot form at the end of last season. He keeping that form in the Olympics for France, just scoring goals for fun and helping France beat Argentina by scoring against them in under 4 minutes. Also, Mateta's really interested in signing a new deal at Crystal Palace because of his huge upturn in form, and his reputation at the club has skyrocketed because at the moment, him and Eze seem to be the faces of the club, and, you know, I'm not mad at it. 20-year-old Ademola Ola Adebomi didn't travel with the first team to America on their American tour, but he's not done that so he can secure a loan this season. A unnamed British team has submitted a loan offer for him, but he's also weighing up his options between them and Beveren, who he has visited last Monday. 26-year-old Eberechi Eze is gaining a lot of interest from the top teams in Europe, and Crystal Palace do not want to let their star man leave. Newcastle have shown interest in the player, also the likes of Liverpool and Manchester United and Arsenal. Crystal Palace want to retain this player. They're looking to maybe offer him another potential pay rise to keep his services at the club, as he is an incredible player and, just like Elise, almost impossible to replace. 24-year-old Marc Guéhi, after having an incredible Euros competition, has got some serious interest from the top clubs in Europe as well as Eze. The first team to make contact with Crystal Palace regarding Marc Guéhi's services is Newcastle, and I do believe that Marc can do better. The reported £65 million is all wanted up front from Crystal Palace. So with his current contract situation, we don't have the most bidding power because he's only got 2 years left on his deal. So if we want to sell him, we have to sell him now so we can get a good valuation from him. He was previously reported to have Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, Arsenal and Spurs interested in him. I really hope that there might be a little bidding war going on, get the value up, and potentially even seeing what Marc would want, we might actually be able to offer him a brand new contract, the same as we did with Eze, the same as we did with Elise. So it can extend his years by quite a lot, but then give him a release clause at the end of the next season or in January or whatever, so we can actually get some serious cash for him. And it's sort of like a win-win situation. He gets to keep playing at Palace in this good form, in this good system, under this good manager, and potentially even get a better move than Newcastle, actually go to Madrid, actually go to Barca. And, it's a win-win. It benefits the club and it benefits the player. So why not? Also, a little later as I'm writing this, Liverpool have joined the race for the younger centre-back, and the hope is that Liverpool and Newcastle would start a bidding war against each other. Because of this, I'd probably hope that you go to Liverpool if you went to one of them, because it's a bigger team. But just like with what we said with Michael Elise, I'd rather he go abroad. And if the chance of Madrid or Barca come in, I really hope he chooses those over Liverpool. 24-year-old Maxence Lacroix, he is the backup option if Marc Guéhi does leave Crystal Palace. The only reason why this has started coming up again is because of all of the interest in Marc Guéhi. We sort of reignited our interest in Lacroix because of the interest in Marc. Obviously, I've covered him in a previous episode. I believe it is Transfer Weekly episode 3. So if you guys want to know the ins and outs of Maxence Lacroix, please go back to episode 3 and I will break it down for you basically. 20-year-old Adam Wharton is getting some huge interest from top clubs all over Europe, as well as Marc, as well as Eze. We've got a good team, don't we? But Crystal Palace do value him at a whopping £100 million. This is because he's viewed by the club and by others that he is better than Moises Caicedo and he is better than Declan Rice. So the club will not look to sell him for anything less than what those two guys went for. This is because Crystal Palace have all the power in this situation. He's 20 years old. He's contracted to Crystal Palace until 2029. And also he's very happy at Crystal Palace. And he said that, and he's also enjoying his football under Oliver Glasner. It's only in the past now that players would look to transfer to different teams so they can get into the international setups, but that's just not the case anymore. We've had 6 players in international finals in the Euros and Copa America this year. Even though not all of them played, they're still in the squad. They still got picked. And, it's sort of changing a little bit that you don't need to be in a top team to get into the international competitions. And, I think Marc Guéhi showed that very clearly. 32-year-old Jordan Ayew and 31-year-old Jeffrey Schlupp are both in the same situation. They've both got 12 months left on their deal, and Crystal Palace are listening to offers for both of them. However, for me, there are links with Ayew to go to Leicester City for about £3 million. But I don't even think that for that kind of money, we should even entertain it. By seeing him in pre-season, he's a good player and he's been so good for us the last couple of years. I think £3 million is a little bit insulting. If I'm really honest, what I would do is I'd either offer him a new contract or I just let the contract run out, because he's a great squad player. He's a great player in general, and I don't think £3 million is enough. So I'd rather keep him for another season to have that squad depth, to maybe go for a cup or this or that, and let him go for free at the end of the year. And also, they've both been great servants to the club, even though we've all slagged them off at certain times of every season that they've been at the club. They've still been great servants. They've been great players for us. So I think they really deserve the opportunity to let their contract run out, go to a new club next season on a free transfer, and they'll kill it on the wages because they're not spending any money on a transfer fee. So big up those two. 2-year-old Rashawn Mathurin is a Crystal Palace attacking midfielder who is currently with the team in America, and he's done very well in pre-season. However, Exeter City want to take him on a season-long loan. This would be a good move for him, as Joe Whitworth is already there and he's starting games and he's already saved a penalty. However, I do think it'll be hard for them to convince him to leave Crystal Palace at this moment in time, because he's very close to the first team. He's training with them almost every day now, and also he might actually be in Glasner's plans if he's been around the first team this much. So it'll probably be a tall order, but I do think it'll be a good move for him. 19-year-old Youssoufa Moukoko. I spoke about him last, I think 2 weeks ago now in Transfer Weekly, as we should potentially look to get him as another striker replacement, or like a striker backup, or even an Elise backup on out wide. But it looks like he prefers the move to Marseille, and it looks like the Marseille move is going to get done. This is probably because that Marseille wanted to get Nketiah for £27 million, but stupidly Arsenal rejected it and they want 30 plus, and Nketiah is not worth that. And also they can get Moukoko, who's younger. He's probably got a little bit more talent to him already, just bit of injury problems, but they can get him for less money than Nketiah, so it's a no-brainer for Marseille, really. 20-year-old Malcolm Ebiue has just completed his season-long loan to Oxford United. Really hope it goes well for him. He's a supremely talented young player. I really hope that this is the chance for him to really springboard his career and get back to where he was at Derby, and really show the talent that he has. If this is a good move and it really springs him in the right direction, you never know, he could jump from League One into the Championship next season again and actually kill it there, because Hull City fans seem to have a horrible time with him. But, in a few years, if he's got the talent to do it, he could be into the Palace first team, because he can do it. He just needs to sort out his career, really. Supremely talented player, and I really hope that this goes well for him. Wesley Gasova Ribeiro Teixeira, otherwise known as Wesley, is a Brazilian left winger that currently plays for Corinthians. He's a right-footed left winger that likes to cut in and either pass or shoot, and he's very versatile in the way he attacks, as he can play across the whole of the front line, and he has got some incredible pace. Wesley is only 19 and he's already played 80 games for Corinthians. This is an absolutely incredible amount of game time for someone as young as him. Just looking at him, he's 5'11", and the Corinthians have definitely fed him a lot of steaks, because he looks extremely strong and physical, and you can see this because he's able to barge centre-backs out of the way at 19 years old. And he's able to do that and hold on to the ball. Another part of his game is his speed. He's got electric pace. He's so fast that he beats a defender just by taking one touch and running around people. There's been many times where I've seen him where the ball's gotten fired into him. He's taken one touch to hit it past a defender and just runs around them from a dead stop. He's that fast, and he can do that, keep some really close control of the ball. One part of his game which I'd like to see him improve on slightly is his shooting. I don't think the actual shooting is the problem. I think it's just the fact that he's not shooting enough. He's great at dribbling. His dribbling numbers are great. His take-on numbers are great. His dribbles completed is great, but his just goal completion, his assist completion, they're not the highest numbers in the world, but I'm sure that with Glasner, with Eze, with Kamada, I'm sure that they're able to coach some attacking input into him, coaching some end product. But just seeing how he just terrorizes defenders is just a joy to watch, really. And I really think that he could be very effective in a Glasner system. He's able to run in behind. He's able to run for the whole 90. He's got some insane skill that, he'd just be a madness to watch, really. With super quick feet and some technical ability, he's probably the person that I've seen do the fastest step overs I've ever seen. Granted, I've seen some pretty fast ones in Andros Townsend, Yannick Bolasie, Wilfried Zaha, but this guy is on a different level. He's able to chop and change direction so quickly, and just with the confidence that he's got, he just twists defenders inside out, really, and he just looks like a pain to defend against. As you can see here, picks up the ball, runs towards the defenders, cuts the ball in ever so slightly, so shifts the ball onto his stronger side with his right foot, hits the ball. It's a beautiful curler into the top right corner. Almost unsavable for the goalkeeper. Here, you can see him running down the wing, using his strength to shrug off the defenders, and basically he goes flying off the pitch. You can see him sliding off the pitch, he's lying down, changes direction, takes a touch to send another defender who thinks he's going to shoot with that touch, changes the angle so slightly and shoots it, absolutely slams it into the far corner. Here, he lets the ball come to his feet, he's holding off the defender, he's shrugging them off, he's making sure he's got control of the ball. But as the ball gets very close to him, he lets the ball roll through his legs and spins the defender. The defender doesn't see it coming. He spins the defender, runs off, and he's got the ball, and he's 1-on-2 with the centre backs. He's running in behind. He's got a lot of space to run into. Great opportunity he's made out of really nothing, really. And finally here, you can see he's in a 3v1 situation, and you're thinking, how's he going to get out of this? Well, I'll show you. So here he's running with pace with the ball, takes a touch inside at pace to do the first defender to get out of his way, and then take a quick touch to go back outside again. Then he leaves only 2 defenders left. The 2 defenders start to close in, but he allows this to happen though. He sort of slows down a little bit, allows them to get close, and as they're about to commit, takes a heavy touch and sprints away from them. And, as he does that, he gets past all 3 of them while retaining the ball. And this is very similar to how Kylian Mbappe actually plays. He likes to pick up the ball, he beats a defender, draws them in, and then sprints away again. Just that change of pace is incredible. And, if he's got this kind of mentality already at 19, he's going to be a serious baller in the future. All of these images are very common occurrences when watching him play. He'll keep the ball at his feet, whether it's a 1v1, 2v1, and he's got some serious flair about him as well. When you're winning heavily, he'll take some fancy touches, tricks and flicks and all of that stuff. So he's very interesting to watch. Also, if we do get this guy, it'll be someone who's similar to France's age, will play in a similar position to França, give him someone to talk to. Also, França could even help him bed into the team even more. And this could potentially be the start of us really starting that Brazilian connection and getting some Brazilians over, because we've been starved of Brazilians. Now it looks like we're only ever looking at Brazilians now, potentially because they play in the same kind of position. They both play in that left or right 10. In a few years, when Eze goes, when Kamada goes, because Elise is already gone now, potentially we could be having a 10 duo of Wesley and França. That could be incredible. 2 young Brazilians just expressing themselves in the Premier League and absolutely doing bits. Corinthians are reported to want about 18 million euros for his services, which is roughly about 15 million pounds. However, by my guess, I think they'd probably want about 20 million pounds because of the talent that he holds and also what he can do with the ball. If we're already willing to spend that kind of money on someone like França, I don't see why not. Why don't we do it again with Wesley? We actually have money on hand now with Elise. We've spent that money a little bit, but we haven't really overspent it. And I do think that it's time to invest in the youth. We've done it with França. Why can't we do it again? I do think that França is going to become an absolutely incredible footballer, because in the little bits we've seen of him, he's been incredible. So why not try and expand what we're doing and look even to more Brazilians, really? Because so far from what I've seen, Dougie's scouting doesn't miss. And if he sees something in this guy, I would say I'd break the bank for this guy, but I think that it's pretty worth the risk. Also, with what happened with França, how he had Real Madrid, Chelsea, and all those kind of teams looking at him, I think that it's probably best if we can get Wesley now before all those big teams start coming in for him. West Ham are already a little bit interested in him, but they have just bought some other Brazilian kid as well. So I think it's probably best now to buy now and then see what happens with him. But I think that he's got what it takes to make it. He looks physically built for the Premier League, and I think he'll do well. I really do. Also, can't do Transfer Weekly without mentioning injuries, and he has got no injuries in his whole professional career. So that is the youth team in Corinthians and the senior team, totaling 95 games total consecutively as well. He hasn't missed a single game through injury. He hasn't missed a single game through illness. He hasn't missed a single game at all. So he's just been constantly playing the last 95 games, which is incredible, really. And personally, I really hope it does happen. He looks like a great talent, and, I think he's already good enough to make it. So what do you guys think? 20 million on Wesley or 30 million on Nusa? Put in the comments below. Anyway, guys, thank you very, very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Put in the comments below who you want me to cover next week. And as always, guys, up the Palace. Eagles!